Oh, why do you always pull that window up? That's not supposed to be there. Well, well, this is the start of my recording. Here we go.
Hooray!
Uh, hello, future listeners as well as the people in the gallery. Welcome to Toonkind at 12 FPS Campfire Conversations. I am the mighty Quinn, or Rosie, if there is a Quinn character in the game, but there is not today. Uh, I am bringing my new Muppet born boy who has things that I want to get into. And with me today is the wonderful, the amazing, the very much beloved.
Hey. Ah, it was a trap.
Mwahaha.
How dare. But hi, I'm Wick, and I'm going to be playing the one, the only uh, grocery store cashier named Casey. Hooray!
All right. We talked a little bit about this before, but I guess I'll start since I was chosen as the intro, the intro narrator for this particular game.
Oh, I mean, you had the idea, so.
Yeah. Um, as we know, the community center is in the middle of nowhere, UPA, and middle of nowhere is not a town name. It is very much smack dab in the middle of nothing for ages and ages far around, and as such, getting there and leaving it is a trek. It is a trek. Uh, as such, Casey, I'm not sure how they got to the community center, but they probably aren't making it back in one night. Is that
Oh, yeah,
correct?
definitely not.
And did they have the forethought to bring any kind of traveling supplies with them, even if it was just like a one-person pitch tent?
Hmm. I was gonna roll for it, and then my brain went, no, Casey's the responsible type. You know she's gonna bring something.
Well, I guess then it's a roll of how much did they pack? Like, did they bring like
Ah,
a full bedroll? Did they bring the tent? Did they bring a very large, very professional camping tent? Did they grab the bare basics? So I guess it would be rolling a 10. One for it's the bare bones minimum, and 24 they overpacked.
okay. First row of the of this 19.
In other words, they are just shy of overpacking.
You know what? That sounds about right.
Like, where do they work? Where does Casey work? Is it like
Ah,
one of those uh uh um what's the word I'm looking for? Those Toon blockbuster malls type locations where it literally has everything under the sun possible.
um, she well, I mean, she actually works at like I don't know. I mean, it's probably like I don't know if it's the tune equivalent of like a Walmart. Uh, I mean, it can have bits of a bunch of different things,
In other
but
words, it's not a cheap place. It's not one of those ones that has like it's not like a corner store.
oh no, I mean, this is one of the bigger places.
Okay,
Um,
then it was probably a place that had at least decent camping equipment. So they probably have like a decent sized tent, a sleeping bag that's good enough. Maybe one of those ones where they like actually have like some reflective stuff on the inside to help keep you warm in case it rains while you're camping or something.
Yeah.
But one of the hard things about camping is finding a good spot to camp, especially if it's slightly unplanned. Like, it's usually pretty easy when you're at a campground, but this isn't a campground. This is the
Mm.
middle of nowhere in UPA.
So, do you think I should roll some survival?
Yes, you are rolling mostly to see how well you're traveling as it's getting dark. Like, Casey knows it's time to pop up a camp soon, but they're not really sure where, and they haven't decided on a good spot yet.
Okay. So survival would be that one. Now, I do have a question.
Yes.
It sounds like we both have schemes on the other side. Like, okay.
I mean, we do kind of have a scheme.
Yeah. Um, could she roll advantage?
Um, on what grounds, if I may ask?
This isn't the first time she's done kind of an outdoor kind of trip, especially in an environment slash hour like this.
It's not her. It's not her first time camping ever.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to take that. If she's done it like a couple times, maybe like family camping trips as a kid or something, yeah, I'm down for that.
Oh. All right. I forgot how to do the multi-line stuff, so I'm just gonna roll it twice.
I think one of the ways you can do it is that you type it in and then you, between a set of brackets, the little square ones, you write ADV, which is advantage. Let me try, just to make sure I'm not giving you bad advice. Let's see, it should be ADV. I think.
Ah, yes, an educational trip. Ah,
I think. No, it looks like
maybe
it
it's
only
just
rolled
in
once.
regular parentheses.
Oh, doi. I think
Oh,
I know what
maybe.
I did.
Uh,
Let's see, this should be. Let's see if I'm actually being an expressive education today. Nope. Oh, yes. No, I am not.
yes, no, maybe.
I know there was a thing for it. I've done Avery's special little tutorial thing plenty of times before, but I'm just not remembering it. Roll twice. Uh, See if maybe you can get a nat 20 on the, on the
I highly
next
doubt
one.
it. I'm fine with this one, but I will roll again.
Well, there's no harm in seeing if you might get that 20. Nope. I guess we'll just have to go with the
Eight.
19. Yeah, let's just go with the 19.
Hooray.
You like have a second where you second guess yourself, basically. But then Casey shakes her head and just keeps going. And you're looking around and Casey sees a light in the darkness.
Hmm.
What do you do with this information?
What do I do?
If you would like me to give more details, feel free to say so.
Let's see. What was. Hmm. I'm gonna roll something. And I'll explain once I see what it is. All right, that's pretty tempered at least. That was a whiz save.
Ah, concern.
Am I going to explain why? I don't.
Okay.
Well,
To give a little more
I'm
details, just because this may help with your decision making. This light looks like firelight. It's the color
yeah,
that you usually associate with a fire of some kind, and it doesn't look out of control.
good. That was saved um was to see whether or not she would kind of run towards it or anything like that. Because yeah, forest fires are a thing, and though it's less likely to happen at night, that could still be of concern. It's you know,
Basically, it's whether or not Casey panics at seeing a firelight in the woods at night.
I mean, especially at the yeah, especially at this hour. Uh, but she'll try to make a careful
Okay.
approach.
I'm going to
Uh,
just give you this one. You don't need a roll for it.
oh,
You
I
step through.
okay.
Oh,
No,
did,
I was like to roll for it. You mean like perception or stealth? I was gonna have her roll some stealth.
oh, you're not going to have to roll. Um, you. It's not bad, I promise. You step. Casey steps through. It's dark. She's probably tripped a few times over some sticks and such, but now that she has this beacon in the darkness, it's easier to move around. She has a goal that she's headed for. And you step through some bushes and find yourself in a small-ish clearing. And good news, it wasn't a wildfire or a spontaneous fire. In fact, it was a campfire. Now you may roll me perception.
Oh, her base. What's your perception? Oh, okay. All right, let me see what you see with your eyes. Oh, 23.
A dirty 23. You see a lot. Cool, cool. I have
That's
to
it.
get really descriptive. In fact, I'm going to say that this is just before you step through the tree line, you realize that you're looking at a fire. And you see a shape sitting on what looks to be either a stump or a fallen log. You can't quite tell at this distance, but it is person shaped, for one. It's not some wild animal that is in the middle of the woods. You there is a small tent that has been pitched by, and it is bare bones ish. Um, it's not quite one of those triangle tents that you see in a cartoon that's like held up by two sticks and a rope. It's a better quality than that. It is triangle shaped, but it seems to actually have like a tie of some kind to hold it shut. But it's very small, and that's because the person sitting nearby it is small. You actually recognize someone you met at the community center. Specifically, you see the Muppet Born that you saw, who is holding a lute, which you didn't think you had seen him holding previously, but he's not really doing anything. He's just kind of sitting there.
He's
And
just sitting
he's,
there menacingly.
well, not even really menacingly. It hits you that he's sitting there and it's very blank. And he's not looking at the fire, although he is kind of head pointed in the direction of it, but he's stiff almost, kind of sitting there staring off into space, basically. But you have just stumbled into the clearing that he has apparently parked himself in. And now
Yeah,
I am
just
going to roll a Persepi to see if he notices that he is no longer alone. Now, what the pick was your Persepi? Oh, right. You are good at perception. 20. There is like a second's blink, and abruptly his head turns, and he looks directly at you.
So my question, I was going to ask, just so I get a better idea of visualizing it. When Casey stepped into the clearing, did Wynne have his back to her, or was he facing her, or was it like to the side or something?
At an angle, Casey could see him staring into space, as well as the fact that he seemed to be looking more above the campfire as opposed to actually at it.
Ah.
So, like, 3/4 view from the right
Now
side,
I can
almost.
tell in my brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the moment you stepped through, or rather, maybe even just a few seconds after, like less than a second after it, his head, just his head, turns to look directly at you. And his face is in that same neutral smile you remember from before, but there's this slight tilt, and he goes, "Oh, hello." You have been perceived and acknowledged.
That Casey's just gonna nod. Hi.
Hello. It's awful late to be wondering. Have you not set up a tent?
Not yet.
Oh. You can set one up here. There's room. If you would like.
She seems to think about it a moment. How far away is she from the campfire slash Wynne?
I'm gonna say what's a good distance? I'm gonna say 6-7 feet roughly from Wynne.
It's not too bad.
Like, if you step to further into there's a rough diameter for the clearing. I'm going to say is about 12 to 13 feet.
Okay. So she doesn't say anything at first to his kind request or suggestion.
Offer.
There you go. I couldn't think of the word. But
Words
she does decide to at least walk closer. And that perception for Wynne is plenty to notice as she closes a bit of the distance. You can see that she is still in the same outfit from earlier in the day, but with the addition of a few red spatters. There are a couple on her apron, and she does have like kind of a little backpack-esque thing on, but she's also in one hand holding what looks to be a hand axe. That also has red splatters on that.
Okay, me as a player concerned. Wynne, where he's sitting, blank.
But I am going to roll to see if she notices that, because it had been dark before. I don't know what the heck. Maybe I should. I don't know what to roll for that, though. Maybe I should just flip a coin or something.
maybe a wisdom roll or a insight on on herself.
Insight on herself.
Well, I mean, it's figuring something out about a person, and that person is that person is just
Just
herself.
in this instance, it's me. Okay, let's see, let's see. All right, so she doesn't notice.
I think with an 11, she might realize that, I feel like I'm missing something, but does not know what. But Wynne does not say anything and does not really react. He's still just kind of sitting there,
Cool.
back straight, and holding the lute, which he is not playing. He's just kind of holding it in his lap.
Are there any other like logs slash sitting uh stuffs?
Um, you know what? Let's just for the sake of making this seem feel personable. Let's just say there's a couple rocks nearby, and one of them is like on the opposite side of the fire from where Wynne is sitting. So near,
Neat.
yeah.
She she kind of tilts her head a little, uh, and kind of like cracks her neck a bit. Are you sure it's okay?
Oh, yes. There's no one else here. It's not as though it will be a problem.
She just nods again, and she let's see what.
$1 million question.
Right. Well, I guess with her free hand, she kind of shrugs her kind of backpack off, puts it beside the rock, um, and I think at the very least, at this point, um, when she goes to kind of stow her hand axe, that's when she notices. Oh, oops. She's gonna grab something from her hammer space. 7. Yay. She she kind of gets like a medium sized rag and kind of just tries to clean that off really quick. So you're by yourself.
Yes, I have been alone for a little while now.
I guess that makes sense. We all have probably different ways we were going. Mm.
Wynne has noticed that small odd thing. He got a 14 on his little insight to see if he noticed the reaction that she had when she noticed the blood on her axe.
Well, I never said it was blood.
Well, the mysterious red substance.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's blood. Anyway.
He doesn't really say anything. Although, would Casey like to roll an insight on this little man after hearing that?
Yeah, you know, she's a little curious, I guess. 15.
There's something a little weird about the way he says that. It's there's something a little bit off, although Casey might not be entirely sure what is off about it. Maybe he says he'd been alone for a while now, so maybe he just meant that he's been by himself traveling, or maybe he's just a private person and has been traveling a lot longer than Wick believed, or than Casey thought. Sorry.
Oh, I'm in here now.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You'd be surprised how often this happens for anybody.
Yes, it happens to all of us.
All right. She will take note of this, and she will not question it.
Man, we put two introverts together.
Yeah, oops. But she but she will take a seat on the convenient rock here. Put her hand axe away.
I am going to roll a little thing just to see if he will finally start doing something slightly normal. Yeah, that's the correct modifier. Well, that was... I was basically rolling my tiny bard's performance to see if he will try to play, and considering that's an 8, I think the answer is he tunes it a little bit, and then he goes and sets it by his pack. Very odd, considering usually when someone has an instrument out, that means they're going to play it, not just sit with it in their lap and tune for a second and then put it away.
Yeah, I mean it is a little suspicious. I mean, not like in general.
It's a little weird.
It's a little odd in that they would tune it and then put it away. Usually, you tune it before you play, or you test play it and then
Yeah, like he might have just strummed a little bit before just kind of putting it back. It's also the first time that he's doing that. He actually looked away from Casey. To like actually look at the instrument in his hands to fuss with it before putting it away.
All right. She also takes note of this. She's not going to pry into it. She is, however, going to open up her backpack, just one of the pockets on there, and she takes out like two little square packages. They're granola bars. Do you want one?
He stares at it for a moment, then goes, "Sure." And he stands up for a moment, and you think he's going to walk over to you to take one, but he walks over to the tent for a moment, pulls out a bag, digs in it, and then pulls out a tiny little package, and then walks over takes it and hands Casey the package.
Do I know what it is?
It is not a see-through bag. You will have to open it.
Like, there's no, like, label or anything on it?
No.
It's just a nondescript.
I will say this. It's very clearly one of those bags that you buy from a grocery store that you use to make some kind of, or to carry something in. But it's like a tiny little non-see-through grocery bag. Very small. Do you open it? That's the $1,000,000 question, apparently.
You don't have to. She puts her granola bar away in order to more carefully, well, open up the bag.
There is a peach in it. More accurately, it's dried slices of a peach, but it is a peach nonetheless.
Oh.
I thought it would be fair if you were giving me food to share some of mine.
I appreciate it. Let's get her reach into her camera space again, which is actually just the front pocket of her apron. Oh, good. It's a 3. She she pulls out a singular toothpick. She's just gonna like hold it with the bag and then like just carefully poke one of the slices. But she doesn't go to eat it just yet.
I will say it's a normal slice of dried peach. There's nothing weird about it. It's just a dried peach.
Oh, no, that's me. That's not the issue. Yeah, she... Oh, go ahead.
Out of curiosity, were they looking at Wynne while they were doing that? Or did they even like have him in their peripheral?
Oh, I would say probably just the peripheral. Not looking directly at Wynne, but kind of keeping him in her vision.
Okay. You see Wynne open the little package for the granola bar. And Casey probably blinks at least once, and there's a bite in it. You did not see him take the bite.
Yes, I love this kind of bit. She will kind of pick up the slice to eat it with the, like skewer it on the toothpick. But she stops. She puts it back down. And she kind of looks up at Wynne for a moment. And then, gauging that there's enough distance between them. I mean, there is the campfire.
Yeah, the campfire is sitting between them.
She will remove the face mask that she was wearing. Not completely. So she kind of takes one loop off probably the right ear. Kind of has it hanging to her left. And will carefully eat a slice of peach.
It is a dried peach.
I'm glad we established that. It's a dried pea.
If Casey looks up at Wynne again, the granola bar is gone.
Yeah. Uh,
And now he is kind of staring at the fire. Because he has learned that not everyone appreciates prolonged eye contact.
um, me as the player, I just hold this little man, this little man's good.
This little man is very strange,
I like
but in
this
a
funky little
charming
man.
way.
um, as soon as she's done that one slice of peach, she very quickly uh, puts the face mask back on and kind of rewraps the rest of the slices.
Are you not very hungry?
Uh, yeah, I ate earlier, but
And he kind of nods ever so slightly and does not say anything further on that topic.
neat. She does put the peach slices in her bag, though.
This little man's expression doesn't change, but you get a kind of feeling like he's kind of pleased that you didn't, like, just shove it away. Yes, this is a normal interaction, very much.
Are two introverts having a normal one today? Like,
Yes, so normal.
they're very normal. They're two very normal beings.
Um, just for the sake of it, uh, would Casey like to roll either a perception or just an insight? Just because this is a weird little man. I think they've probably been around enough customers at their job place to realize that this is kind of a little bit weird. This isn't quite normal behavior for a Muppet born. They're usually more chaotic.
I mean, I will say, yeah, she has had plenty of customer service experience. I will say that she is used to weird behavior. Um, but yeah, I'll let her have a go at that. That is a 6. Yeah, no, this is perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, it's a little weird that that I mean, at least Muppet Borns do tend to be a little more on the chaotic side, but honestly, she's pretty chill with it. I mean, he's a little odd, but it, this is actually rather nice. It's calm for once. Uh,
I think with a 6, what they might think is that, I wonder if this guy's actually a mix. Like maybe he's not all Muppet. Maybe that's why he's so chill compared to the other Muppet born. But he's chill. It's cool. Everything's fine.
yeah, she. I mean, I'll just say it for you and the audience. Like she is kind of. She's actually kind of glad to to kind of slow down and relax a minute. Um, she kind of just also stares at the fire, though it's not entirely uh, noticeable because the entire time she's kind of had like that lens flare, not flare, like in anime where they have like it's kind of covered and stuff. She wears regular glasses, but
Kind of like a
yeah,
lens flog. Or not word. That was not a word. A lens fog. That, like, you can't see through
yeah,
it,
a
but they
lens
can see.
flare. Thanks, Jay. That too.
But, how do we get this to
Yeah,
move
pretty much.
forward? Oh, I know. Wynne stares into the fire for a bit longer, and then his head lifts up so that he's looking at Casey again and suddenly asks, "Where are you from?"
Um, she is only slightly caught off guard. Um, Only because it kind of seemed from nowhere. Uh, Also, she was just staring at the fire.
We're having a zone out moment.
Yeah, sometimes it's nice to just sit and zone for a little while.
Understandable.
But she kind of pauses and goes, um, uh, I live in Tezu.
Kanata?
Yeah.
Hmm. That is rather far from here. Although, I suppose I'm not in a position to say that.
It isn't as far as you think, especially if you take the teleportation circle.
I have never used one.
This is when she actually looks up at Wynne. Then you walked all the way here.
You get a stare for a few minutes and then he kind of nods very slowly. Yes, it is. I wanted to make sure I could see as much as I could.
And
And I, as a player, would like to point out there is an opportunity. He has asked you where you are from. Therefore,
yes,
logically, it is possible to ask the return question.
yeah. In fact, um, Casey just looks back down at the fire and goes, "So that means you're not from around here."
No, I am from Clocktown. It is quite far, actually.
Do you think I should roll a history to see if she knows anything about this place?
I would say yes. With the other thing of that, nothing in
I
the
mean, yes,
conversation thus far has said that um, they aren't allowed to ask.
that's true. But she wants to see if she knows anything right now, uh, without any input yet. But I love I go, yeah, history. She has no modifiers in history.
Well, let's see what
Uh,
happens.
that is another 6. Man.
You have never heard of this place. Like, ever. Not even like a vague passing mention. The name means nothing to you.
You said it was Clocktown?
Yes, it is actually in Gisnep, very far to the north.
Hmm, I guess not.
It's near the border, but it is very far from here.
Sure is.
But
You didn't.
that is fine. I wanted to see as much as I could.
That's fair. It's good to travel while you can.
Oh, that wasn't what I was searching for. He does not elaborate immediately.
I don't think I've ever been to Gizmo.
It is nice, although Clocktown is very isolated.
She just kind of nods, kind of in acknowledgement.
Yes.
She picks up the stick and kind of pokes a little at the fire.
Um, considering what he has just said, would you like to roll an intelligence to see if she picks up any of the clues that I have peppered into what he's just said?
Yeah, just intelligence.
You could do wisdom or intelligence, whichever it is to basically notice wording in a conversation that you feel.
Cool. I'm doing wisdom because her intelligence is just. There are no
In other words,
modifier. Enough.
wisdom has the modifier.
Hooray! That's a 4. Gosh darn it, Casey. Do something.
All right, it's time. It's time for my Hail Mary.
I'm afraid now.
He speaks again, and he goes, I don't see why you need to tell them what they should be looking for.
What?
I was speaking to the one who follows you. And now I, the player, say, Wick, you have been dragged into the conversation. What would you like to say?
Well, I was gonna first roll a whiz save for Casey because that sure is a thing to say to someone who is a bit paranoid. She can't help but like look left and then look right as she even tries to look a little bit behind her. While she's doing that, what specifically did Wynne say?
He said, I don't think that you need to tell them to look for something. I think that was what I said.
I think so. Well, me, as the player, would like to say to Wynne, I just think it's important to get to know people and figure out a little bit of what they're about. and you're new, at least to Casey. So, and Casey's not exactly being astute here.
Wynne nods in acknowledgement and then responds, "Well, I suppose you have a point. There's nothing wrong with learning more about new people." Casey is so confused. They're hearing half the conversation.
Yeah, in fact, Casey just goes, "Who is it? Who's following me?"
And Wynne kind of blinks and looks back at Casey and goes, "Oh, well, the one who always follows you, I think. Everyone has someone who follows them. I have someone too, but I don't hear them. But I know they are there."
Hmm.
And he kind of pauses, tilts his head a little bit more, and then says, "They are not a physical person. None of the ones that I hear are. But that does not mean that they are not there." What does that roll for?
I was trying to have her decide something.
I notice with a lot of these decision rolls, 1 and 2, 2 seems to be the favorite. Because, like, every single one you've done so far, it's ended on a 2.
I know.
Maybe you should, like, reverse them the next time you do that. Or just
Oh, don't
intentionally
worry.
pick the other way.
I reversed this one.
Oh,
The way I
excellent.
phrased it. So she's silent for a moment, almost to the point that anybody else would think that she's not going to say anything, but no, she does. She goes, "So, are they spirits or something?"
Or something. What I
Is it?
can tell is that they. He kind of squints his eyes and tilts his head and goes, "They care most of the time."
You still can't see her eyes, but you can tell her eyebrows are very furrowed.
Haha. I have thrown the Haunted One background that I used for this little man.
Yeah. But she kind of very slowly nods. Is it kind of like a like a guardian of some kind? Is this?
And he kind of hums a little at that and then goes, "I think they are. Usually they help tell stories, as far as I can tell. They know things about the ones they follow, sometimes things that the ones don't know themselves. It is interesting to listen."
She nods again in acknowledgement and then stops. I'm I hope you don't mind if I'm a bit direct, but is this part of, like, the religion you guys have? Or.
No, it is me, I think. I have heard them, but no one else does. My friend was much more of faith, and she could never hear them, and she did not know what they are. So I think it is just me. But
um,
I can say they are generally not malicious if you are not malicious.
could I have Wynne roll insight?
Oh, this should be interesting. It's just, he
I'm
says
curious.
that, and now I'm wondering why you're telling me to roll insight on why that would be a thing. What the peck was your insight again? I scroll down, I don't see your insight anymore. There it is. Your insight is meager, but I hope it will be good. 13!
13.
That is above average.
Hooray. Um, I suppose I could give you this. When Wynne says that, um, for most of the conversation, Casey has been looking in the direction of Wynne, but not actually looking uh, at them because, uh, I mean, Wynne might get the feeling that uh, they kind of understand and that some people might not like direct eye contact, especially for too long. Um,
Meanwhile, he has been staring unabashedly at their face.
I mean, it doesn't bother her, um, but at this particular uh, statement, um, she looks down only at the fire. Um, and you notice kind of a couple of sweat drops near the side of her forehead. And you're not sure whether it's the fire or something else.
Hmm. I need you to roll perception.
Hooray! 15.
I am going to partially give this to you.
Okay.
He has been stiff, which is not normal for a Muppet born. They're kind of floppy and lanky, but he is very stiff. And when you intentionally do this movement for just a second, out of the corner of your eye, you think you see red in his. He is still staring he's still very much staring
Red,
at you.
like, in his eyes?
Yes. And then he speaks again. Is there something wrong?
I, I feel bad that I can't hear them. That's all.
Hmm. I suppose some people would feel like that.
Ah, shit.
Oh, that's a 6. What was that? Was that deception?
It
Okay.
was. I will say, I'll just take your previous insight roll. Uh, she's only partially lying. She feels bad. Doesn't feel bad that she can't hear them, whoever they are. Uh,
And he kind of stares for a while longer and then says, "You should practice lying more." No further comment.
usually I'm better at it, but I don't really want to lie as much.
And Wynne tilts his head slightly and goes, "That is understandable."
I'm, I'm sorry.
That is fine. I do not usually care if someone lies to me or not, as long as I am not being hurt or someone I know is not being hurt.
Casey gives a curt nod, pokes at the fire once more.
I'm going to give you a second chance to roll that wisdom roll to see if they realize something weird about his wording. Again, this is kind of thinking back on stuff he's said so far.
It's a lot of fire again. Okay.
Come on, Casey. You know what?
That's even worse.
You know what? Fuck
Uh-huh.
it. I'm giving you
Yeah.
advantage.
Oh shit. Okay.
Come on, you bugger. We need forward motion.
Holy shit.
20! 20! You are hit by multiple things at once, and they all slam into Casey's poor brain. 1. He said he was searching for something earlier. Not just, I was exploring, it was, I was searching for something. And two, his tone when he asked if there was something wrong sounded a little bit weird. Because usually he'd been speaking in this very flat tone most of the time, but there was something in there. You aren't sure what. And just now, he said, "I don't care if someone lies, as long as it doesn't hurt me or someone I know." Those are 3 weird happenstances that don't quite sound right. Pick your poison.
It really does favor two, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But luckily, the way I phrased it in my head, uh, um, she kind of takes a small breath in, and she kind of just puts the stick down. You know, I apologized for something like that about being forward. I no longer care. This seems to be some sort of plot hook, and if you need some sort of help, I can I'm I can help. Now she's looking almost directly at Wynne.
Wonder, is this? Is that it? Nope. That's not what I was after. I thought I knew it, but oh well. No, fucker, I'm giving you disadvantage. Not today, Satan.
Well, I was waiting for the second one.
What?
Shit! I mean, you can just say you can roll a third time or just go, no, I want to give lore.
The answer is no, I want to give my fucking lore. Pardon my language.
No, you're fine.
You see him twitch. And you see the red in the pupil of his eye as he stares at you very hard. And he says in a voice that's a bit more strained than you're used to, than you have heard thus far, rather, I am trying to find what happened to my friends.
Your friends, do they also live in Clocktown?
They do, yes. I don't know where they are right now.
They just disappeared one day?
Yes, and for a while I apparently did too. But I came back, but they haven't, so I am looking for them. And I am going to say, try rolling history again. Because you have just been handed a rather juicy clue of there was a missing persons case.
Ah, yes. Missing persons case. 18!
Fuck yeah.
That's good. Someone has no modifiers.
It drifts very faintly through your memory that you do remember a reference to a clock town once. It was quite a while ago, of an entire building full of people, and all of the residents in that particular building all went missing. It was called something like Clocktown Chalet, some fancy title that was for a building that was owned by not fancy people. And there was this news article that came out like a couple months after the actual disappearance, written in it about the residents of that chalet all going missing. There was no record of what happened, or where they went, or what even made them go away. The only reason it stands out in your memory was because, as I said, the article was printed like a month or two after apparently the report was filed, but that was just because the place was so remote that the only way to get mail to and from there was on horseback, and that took a while to hit the news outlets because of that.
Oh, but that makes so much sense because Casey works at a grocery store and they sell newspapers.
Exactly.
So
that was why I picked that. But yes, you have someone who has just admitted to having at one time been a missing person. And also, the red eyes are weird.
Also, the red eyes are weird.
Because it's like in the pupil of the eye and not just the iris. That's the word I'm looking for.
Mm.
And it also fades very quickly. Like 1 second it's there and then it's gone.
You were one of them seen from
Our own home, yes. We don't know. I don't know what happened. So I am looking. But I have not found much. I am thinking of going back to look through the building again to see if there was something that was missed.
Wait. You said you're gonna look through the building again? I thought that disappeared too.
And he kind of blinks at that because, well, yes and no. Chalet could talk, kind of. But it. Chalet was alive too. And when we went missing, Chalet went silent. And we don't know why.
She retrieves from her front apron pocket a notepad and a pencil.
They are making notes.
They are now taking notes.
Yes. I don't know what happened. I want to know. I want an answer. But I do not have one yet.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You probably need help finding them, I mean. Because, if you're just traveling on foot, it's gonna take a long time for you to reach every corner of Inqua.
Yes, you are likely right. And he kind of tilts his head downwards and he's finally looking away. He's looking down into the fire. And he kind of reaches over to a pile of sticks that you probably hadn't noticed earlier, or maybe you did, and just kind of tosses one on.
So, I vaguely remember when this happened. When did you come back and where did you go?
I don't know where I went. I was found collapsed at the edge of Clocktown. It had moved further away after we all went missing. I was found by Rowdy. He said I didn't look good. But I don't remember being found, just waking up.
It's an odd disconnect.
Yes.
Is that person one of the other missing people?
No. Rowdy was one of Dowdy's younger brothers. Dowdy was one of the people who went missing, one of my friends. He has a very big family. They all live near town, I believe. Or at least I know there are a few who live there now.
Casey nods. So, I can't remember how many people went missing.
Me pulling up the doc in order to check my character list that I put at the very bottom. Technically, I think, counting myself and Chalet, there were 9 who went missing.
When you woke up, do you remember anybody else in town?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? I had trouble hearing.
She asked if Wynne remembers anybody else in town when he woke up from being missing.
So if any more of his friends were there?
No, just anyone else in general.
Yes, they all came to visit. Many of the people in town now are all related to my friends, and there was Miss Labrador who owns the Labrador Luncheon. There were Penny's 3 siblings, Jenny, Mia, and Danny, and then there were 2 of Dowdy's siblings, Rowdy and Rhodey. There was Frances, who was Ernest's sister, no, cousin. And then there was Theo's uncle, Hank. They all live in town, and they all came to ask me where everyone was when I woke up. I did not have answers for them. I'm sorry, I've given you a bunch of names.
Believe me, if Wynne is looking at Casey, she is very quickly jotting all of this down. As for me, you might need to type that out later if I'm going to keep it in my funny little notes, because my brain just went, those are names, a lot of them.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I just thought it would be more convenient to just fill the roster of people who would be in town with people who would be related to folks from Clock Tower Chalet. Just because I thought, oh, obviously these people have relatives. They would be nearby. In that, he also only mentioned the names of, well, 2 names and 1 or 3 names and 1 surname of people who went missing. So they can also ask for those names, and those will be ones that I type out.
How far away is that town from Kisnap? Or the capital, I guess.
It is very far north on the border of the Pixar Protectorate. About, he pauses for a moment as though thinking, 3 miles from the border, perhaps 2 more. It is very far north, but not to the coastline.
She nods. So then there was no point at any time that any kind of investigators or police showed up there.
And he pauses and he thinks very hard and goes, I think Rhodey, Dowdy's sister, said that there were some who came up when we first went missing, but it was a very small team because of how far they had to travel. They did not find anything of use.
You say that, and I believe you, but I also don't trust like that. That isn't right.
I'm sorry, you cut out a little bit there. I heard I believe you and then don't trust like that.
I mean, yeah, the pretty much. Like she believes Wynne, but she also doesn't trust like that. They've they've had to have found something,
I
something
his face
seemingly insignificant.
his face actually kind of scrunches a bit in thought. Like he's trying to think very hard, and then he says, I did not read the report, but I believe Rhodey has it because she is now the town mayor and our records are kept in the town hall. That is also where the clinic was.
I see.
She was very sad that I could not tell her what happened to Dowdy. I think before I left, she said that she was going to look into putting out a call to have new people come and look. But I have not seen it yet. But
I think
news travels slow from Clocktown.
she nods again. Uh, During this time, you can see that she has flipped the pages a couple of times and jotting things down. You know, maybe. And she pauses. Where were you planning to go after this point?
And he kind of hums a bit and tilts his head, and then he goes, I am not entirely sure. I was thinking of going farther through UPA and potentially visiting some islands, but I think that may be too far. It would be silly to go farther than any of the people I knew could go. At most, I was thinking Billstown before turning around and going back.
And that's what I was going to suggest. It just so happens, of course, that I was heading to Villestown too. Because Villestown has a teleportation circle. Not only that, it's a big city. They should have a few investigators there. We can pick their brains as well.
Oh, yes, I was kind of thinking that. I remember seeing in some papers that Billstown had a lot of investigators. Quite a lot, honestly.
Yes, so it would be helpful to speak with them. And perhaps they can connect us not only with others who may know more information, they might be able to set up a more efficient way of communicating between the town that you're from and any adjacent places.
And he hums a little and goes, perhaps. But I have faith in Rhodey. She will likely have a call soon. And knowing her, she will likely have good, he pauses for a second, incentives decided for those who come to help.
Um, he closes the notebook. I think I I shouldn't bug you too much.
And he seems to smile just a bit more and then goes, you are not bugging me. It is nice to talk to someone about something that has been bothering me. I have met surprisingly few people while wandering. It's a little strange, honestly. I don't know how I've managed that.
She she nods again. I didn't want to open up any old wounds for you. I mean, that case was how long has it
Um,
been now?
it has been a few years. I have been missing for most of those years. So it is not a wound when I don't even know what happened.
So it can be rather disconcerting to wake up and not find your friends.
Yes, it is. But that is why I am looking.
You want to? Well, that's more than some people will do.
Well, there is not much else to be done.
But I think we'll take a break from notes. She just kind of gestures to the
He still has that neutral
notebook.
smile
Now,
and
do
goes,
you?
there's nothing wrong with that.
Only because I don't want to tire you out. Do you? Do you need any sleep?
Yes, I do. But I have just been thinking, although I suppose you are right. I should retire soon. My offer is still
And
open for you to pitch a tent here, too.
oh, I will. Just not now. Um, I can keep watch while you sleep. You need it.
That would be appreciated. But don't forget to sleep yourself. It is not good to stay up all of the time.
Keep that in mind.
Yes, it is good to lay down, if only to give your mind a break. And if it is implied that the conversation has finished, he's likely going to just stand up and go into the tent. So are you going to stop him
Just a
from
mental image.
Are you going to stop him from just standing up and going into the tent?
before before you sleep, just know that wherever they are, and she looks to Wynne, your friends appreciate what they're doing, what you're doing for them.
I am sure they do. And he ducks into the tent and pulls it closed. However, I am going to ask for one last either perception or insight, whichever you think is higher.
It's the same for her.
Yeah, we'll flip the coin then, I guess.
That's a nat 1! Gosh darn it!
Really, Avery, you don't want us to get lore. We have to fight against you for lore.
Hey, I rolled with a physical dice. If you want.
I would suggest trying it with physical at least once. I'm trying to give a
Well,
thing.
guess what? I got a 19 with that one. Take that, Everett.
You almost miss it, but his voice sounds off when he says that. It's similar to the voice you've heard thus far, but there's something other in there before the tent closes, and you almost want to think it's layered, like there was more than one speaking for just a second there, and you don't know what that is other than it just made all the hair on the back of your neck stand up. You don't
Well,
think that anyone is dead. That's like the one thing you can feel from this conversation. No one is dead, but there's
cool.
something very, very not quite right here.
And there are fates worse than death. Anyway,
Haha.
um,
I love how
but,
Wynne is the one that we've gotten all the lore from.
but
Like, how much have we
that is
actually
okay.
exposed about your being?
Well, I'll say for the end of, for kind of to close this out, Casey turns her attention back to the fire, and then kind of she sighs, and her shoulders kind of sag, and she mutters, "What did I get myself into now?" And that's it.
Haha. Yay. I mean, I honestly thought the seed would be planted sooner for this little guy. I did not expect Ivory to fight me so much on it. Admittedly, I may also just be really hyped because I'm proud of the story writing that I've been doing and dropping more than I actually should.
I mean, already I was just I in my brain I was like, Casey, take
Yeah. Casey,
notes.
take
I was
notes,
like,
take notes, take
oh.
notes. But that is how the night ends. And I'm going to slightly assume that the next morning both get up. Wynne packs back up his tent. Does Casey actually go to sleep, or at least make it look like she went to sleep?
Yes. Will I say which one I said yes to? No.
Well, next morning you get up. The campsite is packed up, and you both kind of start walking. And I guess you kind of have a travel companion since you are both headed to Villestown, apparently. Have fun.
Hooray.
Be prepared to deal with more very strange little man.
Hooray! More consequences.
Yeah. If they end up in the game again, potentially playing the one that I have, I'm going to make you roll to see how much more weirdness they have noticed, and you will have advantage on that roll. But that is then and not
Ah.
now. Thank you everyone for listening. I guess this is where we end.
I guess. Thank you
We
for
have been
having
at it
me.
for at least about over an hour. That's a decent time for an FPS.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you for accepting my invitation to do this. Thank you for letting me mostly have the reins in order to ramble about this funky little Muppet man who has issues.
Yeah. Huh. Oh, I love this little Muppet man.
And I have to admit, I have theories about Casey now, but I cannot confirm them yet. And I am going to find a way to hound you for more information. But thank you for everyone for listening. Thank you, Wick, for joining me. I think I'm going to end my recording if you're cool with that.
Yeah. For everyone listening now and in the future, have a good time zone.
Bye bye.